All right, hello everybody. So this is Walt McCormick coming back at you. You can find me at Walt McCormick Insurance on Facebook, or you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, or LinkedIn. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today was a subject called golden handcuffs. And we're going to cover two main topics, which is one, what are they? And number two, how do you use them? Okay? So, first and foremost, what are golden handcuffs? Okay, so usually what these are benefits that go to your employees, and they are usually what is called discriminatory. Now, don't get that confused with your general employee benefits, or in terms of like, we're not talking about like equal EEOC kind of stuff. We're talking about that you can discriminate as to who gets them. So usually where you'll see this is in buy-sell agreements. Okay, you'll also see it with what we call C-suite, or senior level executives of companies. Typically these are your big decision makers, your heavy hitters, your top sales guys, etc. And so these are just some of the areas that you can see those in, okay? Which we'll get into more in the next section, okay? Now, one of the main vehicles that I use for these is in life insurance. Okay. The other area you'll see in this is disability. And you could just do cash, but typically, you know, like cash executive bonuses are not quite as attractive as using one of these two vehicles is. I personally like the life insurance because it has a lot of extra benefits to it. So, now, how is this different from your, we'll just put GH is golden handcuffs, and then your, I'll put all other, okay? So let's say you're an employer and you have 25 employees. Okay? Now, all of your employees, you're going to offer, you want to increase your employee retention. So you're going to offer health insurance. You're going to offer dental, vision, life, and let's say you're going to do short-term disability. Okay? Now, I personally have benefits that has these all in like usually two things, where the health, dental, vision is all one, and then you have life and short-term disability are combined. These are usually guarantee issue. So if you apply for them and you have a number of employees, it's guaranteed to go into effect. And usually these are fairly inexpensive. Okay? Sorry, my handwriting kind of went to heck there. Now, golden handcuffs. Usually you're going to see this in, like we said, life, disability, long-term, okay, LTD. I didn't want to put the abbreviation for short-term disability because it's STD, and we don't want to be giving all of our employees those, because that usually ends up, sorry, that was bad humor. So, life and disability. So, these are some of the things that you can have. And this is usually more expensive. Okay? So, we'll do an example of this, okay? So if you got that, good, moving on. So now we're going to move into how to use. Okay? So, let's say you've got, of these 25 employees, you've got 6 that are your managers, leaders, foremen, whatever you want to call it, okay? So let's say you've got 6 of those. So you've got these guys, right? Now, we want to do some golden handcuffs. We do not want these guys, they're top producers, they're high producers, they're very attractive to other recruiters. So, if you had this guy, this company over here, this is a recruiting company. What would happen, and this is why you do golden handcuffs, okay? What would happen and what would it cost your business, monetarily speaking, we're talking about money here, okay? If this recruiter came over and took this guy away to where he no longer was there, how much would it cost you to replace him? You know, let's say it costs you $60,000 to replace that guy. So now you're out $60,000. Well, what you can do is you can break that chance by going to these guys. We'll put him back over here for now, okay? Go into these guys and you're going to give them a proposition. Say, hey, look, I'm going to give you a life insurance policy that builds cash value. CV stands for cash value. And I'm going to pay $6,000 per year as long as you work for me and you don't leave. Okay, so life just got a lot more interesting. So what do these things provide for these employees? So it provides an opportunity. And so, anyway, so that's the deal. I'm going to give you life insurance and disability insurance. Okay? So, what problem does that solve? So, it sets up an opportunity for additional retirement funds. And this is for the employee. And this is for the employer. Okay? So, it sets an opportunity for retirement funds. It gives a benefit, a death benefit, for spouse and family. Okay? It provides, critical and chronic illness protection. Okay? And makes them feel more valuable. Okay, now this one right here is the most important one of all of these. Now, all these are nice benefits. This is the most important one. It makes them feel more valuable, so they are less likely to leave. The recruiter that is coming to steal that employee is going to have to work a lot harder than a recruiter that is not going up against this, okay? So now, that's the benefit for the employee. So what is the benefit for the employer? Now, I said they're typically more expensive, meaning they're going to cost the company more, but they are still cheaper than replacing. So it provides security. Now, what happens if one of those employees were to die, get injured in a job site accident and die, part of that death benefit would go back to the business. This is the business, okay? So part of the death benefit goes to the family. Put a little kid there, right? Part goes to the family, the majority goes to the family, and some of it goes back to the business to pay to replace that employee. So it provides a sense of security. It's fairly cheap, all things considered. I mean, like I said, if you have 6 employees and you're paying $6,000 a year, that's only $36,000 a year that you're going to be paying out as an extra bonus. So that's pretty cheap. Now, if you're doing $10,000, it'd be $60,000, $20,000, it'd be $120,000, right? Now, these are just some of the basic things. And so also, if the employee is disabled, you can also have where part of the money goes back to the employer to handle that. But overall, getting a little chaotic here. Let me erase some of this. So, what are the takeaways of this? So, these provide security and value. They help to retain good employees. And they build a stronger connection to the work. Okay? One thing you guys need to recognize in terms of dealing with employee-employer relationships is these benefits do go a long way. I know people who have left jobs because of benefits. I know people who have switched jobs because of benefits. So doing this is something that you can help up, and there's also various legal aspects that you have to keep in mind with it. So let me just put that disclaimer out there. This is something that I do help people with. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I look forward to the opportunity to help you. Walter McCormick with Walter McCormick Insurance out of Nashville, Tennessee. Be great.